My name is Jonah Fielko, and I'm the CEO of Bracketology.tv, fantasy sports for reality television. We offer fantasy games for shows like The Bachelor, Survivor, Big Brother, RuPaul's Drag Race, and counting. You start by creating a community. Within your community, you can create a fantasy league for each show that you want to play fantasy games for. Within the league, you can choose up to 3 of our 4 game types, and our most popular is the Advanced League. Choose a team of contestants, and depending on what they do and say during the episode, that's how your team will gain or lose points each week. We also have elimination-style games like our Confidence Pool. This is where you choose how confident you are that each contestant will survive elimination that week. And we've also got March Madness-style brackets. Come back a couple hours after the episode to check your scores and watch you climb the leaderboard. Bracketology is free to play, so grab your friends, your family, your coworkers, and head to bracketology.tv for more info.
What's up, everybody? My name is Randy from the Survivor Now podcast, and I am here for your Week 7 Fantasy Outlook powered by Bracketology, fantasy sports for reality TV. Now, if you guys have not got into our Mergatory competition, make sure you do that down below. There is a link in the description. Basically, is your team busted? Are you way done in your fantasy standings? Go ahead and join this Mergatory competition. This is a second chance for you guys to pick a team of castaways each week and see if you can score the most points. And let's see who wins at the end of the season. Now, next season for Survivor 45, we will be partnered with Bracketology for the entire season. So make sure to use this Mergatory competition to get used to how it works, and then come back next season and compete for prizes. Yes, we're going to have some amazing prizes for you guys in season 45. But basically, join me here every single Monday as I give you a rundown of who you should be setting for your team and who maybe you should be avoiding, who I'm a little nervous about heading into this week. As you see at the bottom, we have a ticker for you guys as well, where you can see last week's scores, but we are here to talk about Week 7. So first, I'm going to talk about the players that you're going to want to play heading into Week 7 of Survivor 44. And I'm going to start off with the leading scorer from last week, Carson, who scored 27 points. I think Carson is in an excellent position heading into this week. He's got a lot of options moving forward. We know he has a relationship with Carolyn and Jam Jam, We know he has a relationship with Kane. We saw him talking with Brandon, so it seems like those two are good as well. So Carson is an interesting person to play, and I think is a strong candidate to be the fantasy MVP once again this week. And that is because of the fact that no matter what plan is getting set in stone for Tribal Council, Carson is going to have something to do with that plan because he's in so many alliances. So I think that Carson is a shoo-in to get some screen time, which is going to help you with those confessional points. Another thing is we start individual challenges this week. And Carson, not only is he great at puzzles, but I think he's also got that small enough stature and he's in good enough shape that I think he's going to do really well at these individual immunity challenges, which that's another great way to get points. You get 16 points if someone wins an individual immunity challenge. So I would go ahead and have Carson in your lineup. Lock him in. He gave you 27 points last week. Lock Carson into your lineup. The second out of the 3 players that I think you should play this week on your fantasy team is Jamie. Now, it's starting to be noticed by a lot of people. Jamie is a sleeper, a huge sleeper when it comes to potentially going on to win the game. She has been a confessional queen. Ding! Every time she uses her magic wand. And I think Jamie's in a great position as well. You can see that the girls trust her. You can see that she's in with some alliances here and there. Not only that, though, she has her fake idol and her real idol. So if she gets any indication that her name might be on the chopping block, she's going to play that fake idol. And even if Jeff Probst says, no, I'm sorry, this is fake. Well, Jeff, let's see if this one is real. And if she successfully plays an idol, that gets you a lot of points as well. So I think it's a mix between those fantasy points that you get for playing an idol successfully and confessionals. I think that's where Jamie's really going to rack up the points. She was your fourth highest scorer last week with 20. So get Jamie in your lineup as well. And then the third person is Franny. Franny is someone that I think should be locked into your lineup. Now, they have been showing. Now, Franny was the second highest scorer last week with 24 points. They have been showing a lot of Matt and Franny this week, and that worries me to an extent, but I'm going to tell you why that worries me a little bit later on here in this fantasy breakdown for week 7. But Franny, I think, is going to be safe out of that relationship duo. I think a lot of people trust Franny. She's been giving a lot of confessionals, and because we've been seeing her and Matt in the previews, I think she's going to get a lot of confessionals this week. That's going to be a lot of points. And I think Franny could be a sneaky pick to be kind of a challenge beast. There's one female every year that you don't expect to be a challenge beast and ends up being one, and that was Cassidy last season. So get Franny in your lineup. So there, I've given you 3 people. I'm pretty sure you're picking 3 people this week. Carson, Franny, Jamie. Get them in your lineups. I think they're going to give you a whole lot of points moving forward. Now I'm going to give you 3 players to avoid for this week. Now, the first one was the 5th highest scorer last week in Brandon. He gave you 17 points. Here's the deal with Brandon. We know he's a strong competitor. He should be really good at these individual immunity challenges, but I think he's going to be one of those castaways that if they don't have the immunity necklace, people are going to look at them as potentially an option to get out. Look, he doesn't have the individual immunity necklace now, so let's go ahead and get him out before he starts winning these challenges. I'm also worried about Brandon's standing in the game. We see that he's close with Carson, but other than that, it hasn't appeared that Brandon is really close with anyone else. We haven't been getting a lot of confessionals from him either. I think last week we did get a few that got him up to that 17-point total, but we haven't got a lot of confessionals from Brandon, so I would stay clear of him this week. Jam Jam. Okay, Jam Jam has constantly heard his name on the block every single week. And I don't expect that to change this week. Remember, last week he was the backup plan for Josh. So now that Josh is gone, who ends up being the backup plan? It won't be Jam Jam, I don't think. Jam Jam might become the actual plan. He only scored you 2 points last week if you played him. I don't think his position is going to get any better this week. I think he could be one of those early merge boots. So stay away from Jam Jam. And now I want to get on to Matt and why I think Matt is the number 1 player to avoid this week. So they have been showing in the previews a lot of Matt and Franny, and I think they are preparing us for trouble between the two this week. I'm not saying that it's going to be an argument between the two, but I do think one of them is going home, and I think that person is going to be Matt. I think Matt is going to get eliminated this week. And remember, if you get eliminated, you lose a lot of points. So you want to avoid who's going home this week. I think Matt is the number 1 person to avoid. I do think he could get you a lot of confessional points, as I do think he's going to be the person going home. So obviously CBS and editing is going to put him on our screens. But you want to avoid losing all those points for who ends up getting eliminated, which I do think it's going to be Matt this week. If you see at the bottom of the screen, those are my top 3 castaways likely to get eliminated. Those are the people who, when you're filling out your confidence pool, you should put at the very bottom. I think Matt is the number 1 likely person to get eliminated, followed by Brandon, followed by Kane. Kane's a sleeper. We haven't seen a lot from Kane, but remember, his name was also thrown out last week. Guys can hear me, but okay, looks like I'm back. But yeah, I would avoid Kane if at all possible as well. I just don't know where he really stands with the tribe, and he doesn't really look like he has a good grasp, but he might be someone moving forward that they continue to put him on the block as like a split candidate. So avoid Brandon, Matt, and Kane this week at all costs. And also I would avoid Jam Jam as well. But there you go. That is your week 7 Fantasy Outlook. Go ahead and let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. What do you agree with that I said this episode, and what do you disagree with? And go ahead and share your fantasy teams if you're feeling good. Show us who you like heading into this week 7 of fantasy. And don't forget to click on the link in our description and join our Mergatory second half competition only on Bracketology. And make sure to check out the guys at bracketology.tv. Have a great night, guys.